Good evening. My name is Joe Bandel, and I am the last Rosicrucian. Tonight we're going to talk about, the topic is denial of self and collective agreement. Now, my father once asked me why I stopped at stop signs. Was it because I was afraid of getting in an accident, or was it because I was afraid of getting a ticket? Such a simple question. But it accurately describes today's social situation. You know why? It's based on fear. I told him that neither reason was why I stopped at stop signs. I stop at stop signs because all drivers have collectively agreed to cooperate and follow the rules of the road for the general safety and well-being of everyone. I was not acting out of fear, as my father suggested, but out of a sense of cooperative effort. I'm sure most other drivers feel the same way. In looking out for our own self-interests, it often happens that what's best for us is best for others as well, and often what's best for others is also best for myself. These are the times when collective agreement is appropriate and very self-empowering. At these times, a win-win situation exists for both the individual and for society. The point is that we don't need to deny ourselves and surrender to some collective agreement that we are not in agreement with. The individual is much more powerful than one might expect. But someone always needs to be the first to stand up against something that is unfair or outright harmful. The individual can fight the collective to a standstill, but the individual can never win. This needs to be clearly understood. But there are times when it is appropriate for the individual to stand up against the unthinking mob and resist it. Sometimes a stalemate is the only solution available, but sometimes that is just what's needed. Dualistic thinking needs to be replaced with more integrated thinking. It is common to believe that one must choose between materialism or spirituality because it is not believed possible to possess both of them. That defies personal experience. I know just as many spiritual people that are comfortably well off as I do greedy materialists that are also well-to-do. At the same time, I know many spiritual people that are quite poor, and I also know just as many non-spiritual people in poverty as well. There is something wrong with this entire concept of self-renunciation, where the spiritual person must renounce the things of the physical world, and the materialist must renounce the things of the spirit in order to live a successful life in this world. These are both stereotypes that are false and misleading. They are both traps where both types of people are required to sacrifice to some higher external goal. In one case, to sacrifice things of the spirit to get worldly riches, and in the other case, to sacrifice physical desires for the salvation of the soul. Where's the win-win situation? Do you see what's happening? We are deliberately being led to believe that a win-win situation does not exist and cannot exist. We are deliberately being led to believe that one must choose between one or the other and that no compromise is possible. There is always room for collective agreement. Okay, those are the talking points. Collective agreement is a lot different than a hive mind where everybody believes the same thing, where everybody has the same values. Collective agreement means everybody's voting in on it and they're saying, hey, I'll go along with this because it's a good thing for me and it's a good thing for you. But in today's world, that's not what's happening. We are not being asked, is this good for you? Is this good for me? We're not being asked that. It's being shoved down our throats. That's a problem. Not only is it being shoved down our throats, we're being told that this is the thing that's best for us. External authority, everywhere you go. Oh, I don't like what those people are doing. Let's pass a law. Pass a law. External authority, force people, coercion. That's all that's in the heads of people now. What about collective agreement? What about a win-win situation? We have forgotten, apparently, that it's possible to have win-win situations. Now, when you look at history kind of shows that societies, civilizations progress, and then they break down, and then new societies, new civilizations come up. Why is that? There are cycles there. And there's times when the individuals are the most important factors, and there's times when society is the most important factors. Well, if you look at Rome and a lot of other civilizations, what happened? When did they fall into ruin? Mostly after their peak. Well, obviously they can't. I mean, it's the end of their time. Decadence. They fall into decadence. And decadence is nobody has the will to live. There's no individual power anymore. Everything's just kind of going along in a just stagnant way. Not only stagnant way, but there's no vitality. And something with more vitality comes along, and there you go. That's what's taken over. That's what's happening in this world today. There's something that's got more vitality. The human being is learning how to become an individual. We have thousands of years of being collective organisms, being part of the hive mind, being workers and slaves to an elite, to those who think they're smarter than we are and think they can determine what's best for us. We've done that. Now it's time for freedom. The freedom to choose our own choices and to determine our own fates, to determine our own futures. America was founded on the dream of freedom. Now, the hive mind, the collective, is trying to bring us back into submission. It's trying to dumb us down. If you look at the core program for education, my God, we're turning out idiots. We're graduating students that don't know how to read and write. How can that be good? Yeah, and who's the one where are these ideas coming from? And where's self-esteem? Where is a strong sense of self? We need those things for mental and emotional health. We need to be able to love each other, to like each other, we need to be able to trust each other. If somebody forces me to do something, that's not an element of trust. That's an element of force. You don't believe in me and I don't believe in you. That's a problem that is not a win-win situation. We need to look at win-win situations that lift everybody. It is possible. We've done it. Our country is based upon the concept of win-win situations and collective agreement, not a collective hive mind, and it's not based on a democracy, it's based on the idea of a republic. There's kind of a difference and a distinction there. Anyway, that's all for tonight. Just some thoughts to go along with. Have a good evening. Feel free to share this if you want. Good night.